Welcome to the second hour of Live and Let Live on the Rule of Law Radio Network. I'm Gary Johnson. You can hear this program for 2 hours every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific. Archives of this program are available at ruleoflawradio.com. In this hour, we are talking with David P. Griffin. He is a videographer, and he used to work for CBS News as a cameraman. He'll tell us about that. And he is actually suing his more recent employer, Public Access Television in Austin, and he's going to be talking about that lawsuit in particular, but mostly we're going to be talking about the process of filing a lawsuit pro se, and what he has learned from his own firsthand experience. He's actually put some videos up on YouTube relating about his experience filing these lawsuits. David P. Griffin, welcome to Live and Let Live.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, David, why don't you begin by telling us a little bit about yourself, about your background and your experiences?
Well, basically, I'm a photojournalist. I've been working in the field for almost 20 years for all the major networks as a cameraman, soundman, editor, and, worked my way up through the ranks like everyone else. I've been the privilege of being on great stories like Waco. When the Branch Davidians were there, I was there for 37 days. I've been in war zones covering the problems all over the country. It's kind of hard to talk about it, so many experiences over so many years. But being in the news, you get to travel and you get to meet a lot of people. I ended up in the Texas Senate in the '05 session as the photographer for the Senate, and that gave me a great insight into how government works. And from there I went to Channel Austin, or at that time it was PAC, Public Access Community Television, as the equipment manager and operating the studios. So in my 20 years as a photojournalist, photographer, working in television, there's not anything I haven't done, from live shots to interviews with ex-presidents. So that's kind of just a brief, I've done a little bit of everything, but I'm master of nothing. That answers your question.
All right, well, very interesting. So as you say, you've been all over the world, I guess, covering stories and, first-hand experienced electronic journalist over the years. And so you said that you were the equipment manager for Public Access Television in Austin. Maybe you should explain to everyone, what is Public Access Television? I think a lot of people know what it is, but for people who don't know, let's begin by explaining the general concept of Public Access Television. What is it?
Well, public access, you got to remember, the video revolution started in the mid-'70s, and the equipment and the to edit and to shoot was quite expensive, and the airtime was something that they had abundance of because they didn't have all these cable outlets and all these channels. So 30 years ago, when cable was coming into existence, Time Warner says, we'll give you these public access channels, we'll give you a little bit of money to operate it, and we'll give you some money to buy the equipment, and you can do whatever you want, and in return for this, we'll have our access. We'll be able to run our cables down the city streets and the city right-of-ways, and they basically run their cables in the city right-of-ways in return for these channels, this equipment, and this operation. That's kind of what Channel Austin is, because in the 70s and 80s it was just so expensive. The average person didn't have a way to communicate through this new media, because an average camera was $50,000. The edit system took up a whole room, versus now a small camera, a laptop computer, you can do anything you can at the old station. There has been a time and a revolution, but the fact that we still have this public access, this medium that we can get out to the masses. People can go down to Channel Austin and take some classes. They can learn how to shoot, how to edit, how to put their own shows up there. I know you as a producer, you produce some of your shows at different times. And this is just a great outlet for the average citizen who wants to learn and have his own program and to have his neighbors or his people in his church see that on the local television. And it's one of those real gems that the city of Austin has, but they haven't really taken care of it like they should have.
David, you actually said earlier that Time Warner was running this in the beginning. This is probably before Time Warner, probably Cablevision, but the cable company was providing all of this. It was access to channels on the cable company, and as you say, the public access television is sometimes I think of it as kind of like a library, and instead of checking out a book, you check out a camera and you produce your show, and then it runs on the cable TV.
Right, and that's exactly what it is. It is an extension of the library system. You can check out a camera, you can go down to your local church or whatever function and shoot it, and then people in the community can see it. And that's a great thing. It's a great communication tool. But the problem is the city of Austin hasn't really taken care of it. As I remember, in the early 2003, 2004, there was a lot of problems with that management. 2005, the city just let the contract expire, and then PAC took over. The new management, as we call them now, and they took over in the fall of 2005. They had a real mess on their hands. The building was in bad shape. The city hasn't painted, the roof leaked. Just like any other property, the city just didn't take care of it. As I said, I don't know the previous managers, but I understand there was $300,000 worth of theft. There was a trial and equipment, and people had hard feelings. I know when I first walked into the station, it truly was a museum to 1984. I mean, I saw machinery, 3/4-inch decks, things that haven't existed in our industry in years. It's perfectly preserved and in working order, but it truly was like a time capsule. I mean, I was kind of surprised.
All right. Now, you've said a lot of things here, David, so you know what you're talking about, and I know what you're talking about because I have produced programming at public access television, and when you worked there, I remember working with you when you were the equipment manager, but you've used a lot of terms here that I'm not sure if the people who are listening to this know what we are talking about, so we kind of need to explain.
Okay.
In Austin, the public access television is 3 channels, channels 10, 11, and 16. They're on the cable television system, and it's part of the contract between the city government and the cable company, and the cable company is required to provide these access channels. There also are other access channels for the city, the county, the school district, and the community college. And these channels are... the programming is provided by the citizens who use their own cameras to produce their own shows. But let's kind of set the stage here, David. The equipment that you're talking about, the building, for example, you're talking about, this is actually a government-owned building.